All right. Thank you for joining me again, everyone. Again, I have Connor with me today. As you know, we had an episode a couple of weeks ago about the circle of slaves and that wonderful diagram that he made, and we talked about it, and it's excellent. So if you haven't seen that, please go back and take a look at that. And then today we're going to talk about flying monkeys, or the enablers of the narcissist today. So anyway, Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing real good, real good.
Nice, nice. You know what? The last show that we had was it was the con. Let me refrain from calling them shows and episodes. I think that's. I'm sorry, guys, to even stop in the middle of that. But our last conversation. Let's put it in perspective. I don't. We don't have a. This isn't a news station. Our last conversation about narcissism was. I just that I can't even tell you how well thought out that was. It's so neat. I've referred back to it many times since you sent it to me, and hopefully, the people that are also joining in on this conversation about narcissism have seen it. If not, go back and take a look at it and see what Connor has done. So, but today we're talking about flying monkeys. Is that right, Connor?
Yes, today is specifically all about the flying monkey. So yeah. The after doing the Circle of Slaves, that I'd been researching it for a long time. I kind of came across a lot of research recently that dealt with flying monkeys, and I really liked what people had to offer, like bunch of different sort of criteria for what people define as a flying monkey. Now, I define a flying monkey as people who willingly do harm. I do not consider unknowing pawns a flying monkey. If you're not in it going, yeah, I'm going to hurt you for my master, you don't really count as a flying monkey. So that's where I draw the line there. Um, but I will state that flying monkeys themselves, there's still things that flying monkeys do, even though they're mostly predictable. They really have a fair amount of flexibility being a flying monkey. They do a lot of bad things, and
I
I
think
wanted
they're
to.
almost narcissists themselves. The flying monkeys seem to be like they're in that camp for sure.
Oh,
The
they
ones that
are
I know,
dumbed down.
they enjoy what they're doing, and they are, and they're actually just a little more pathetic than the narcissist is that they don't even take the center stage as the narcissist themselves. Actually, they're actually
That's
bigger
right.
cowards than the narc.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I actually looked into it because I actually had a huge debate with myself. Who is the bigger loser? The master narcissist. Yeah, I had a huge debate with myself. Is it the master narcissist that is a bigger loser than the flying monkey, or is the flying monkey a bigger loser than the narcissist? And it was neck and neck, but ultimately I came to the conclusion that because the narcissist is leading the race to becoming a bigger loser, they are the bigger loser. And
Really? Okay,
so,
I was gonna go
oh,
with the flying monkey. The enabler was a bigger loser, but we'll
oh,
whatever.
it's
They're
a
both
tough one.
we know they're both toxic and nasty. I like what you say at the top. It says if you're surrounded by clowns, don't be surprised when your life resembles a circus. If you perform for the clown, you become part of the circus. That yeah, it's got little musical notes at the. Oh, that's right. We're gonna do a song on it. When flying monkeys come around, that's when the circus comes. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a play on words. Instead of Cirque du Soleil, yeah, I said Cirque du Soleil because really, when you think about it, it is such a circus. Like it's such a shit show, and it's like,
Yes.
yeah, you have a bunch of you have, like one of the insults I kind of liked that someone made up as a joke was I've seen monkeys at the zoo that have had better shit shows than the than what these people have done today.
Yeah, and the monkeys aren't as big as losers as the narcissist and their flying monkeys. On the
Exactly.
left here at the top, you have spy, and then inside of it, interrogators. Maybe we could start to kind of look at this, explain what is that? What does that mean? Because I really don't know what that means. It's the first time I've seen this diagram.
You bet. And I love your reaction to it too. I think
Okay, good.
I got exactly what I wanted for it.
Even though I can't
um,
pronounce it. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so the way it works is the overall flying monkey role has a bunch of different sub roles or different behaviors because I really wanted to break it down. So There's a lot of different roles that a flying monkey plays. Some of them they can play at the same time, some they can't. It's all flying monkey. So you have all the roles. You have spy, interrogator, shadow, yaysayer, naysayer, understudy, hellraiser, harasser, thug. All these roles are interconnected because they can at any moment they can really go from one role to another. They hop around. They can acrobat around. They can like
They
they can
do.
trapeze from one from one role to another.
Like a circus, I see. Yeah. Oh, now I understand. Now that I'm kind of into our conversation, finally, paying attention. Spy, interrogator. Yes, that does make sense. I do know the spies in to the Flying Monkey. Absolutely, and they enjoy their part. They really do.
Yeah, they are just so they really are just like really malevolent, I should say. Like at this point, if you're a flying monkey, it's like you're doing bad things. You are willingly doing bad things.
Hmm.
So it's just like, what does that entail?
Well, the interrogator is the data miner. If they mine data and information from you, I see that would be seeing that it's within the spy circle exactly, and they use that data against you later.
And yeah, I'm so glad you're onto this tier because yeah, I have like all these definitions listed, which I'm gonna read out. But like you're already nailing it. You're already guessing like really. You're
Connor,
getting
I've been through this. I have been through this many times until I finally, oh, this is what's going on. I got this flying monkey circle of shit here. Okay, spy, interrogator, harasser. I'm putting names to these labels. I'm like, yeah, okay. Of course, I can't say them on here, but understand
yeah.
that yes, I have one of these and one, if not more, of all of these. Or well, not now, around now, but yeah, I've experienced this. So, spy, interrogator. On the other side, you have the harasser and the thug. Um, I'm really interested in that one. Can you tell us a little about the harasser and the thug for a minute?
Oh, you bet. So I'll get right into it. So a harasser is usually a repeat offender. They persistently hoover on over to attack you. So they come to you, and they're capable of both veiled and outright threats.
Mhm.
So, real life example. Do you need a hit on the back of the head?
Mm.
The flying monkey gets reported in a talking to later on. Hey, did you tell my boss I said you need a hit on the back of the head?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Typical abuse by proxy. They
Right.
come to you and they instigate the conversation, which isn't a conversation, with lies, slander, threats, and overall devaluation of the target's character to mess with you. That's their whole point of coming over. They come over to bug you, and they harass is what they do. It's all harassment.
Right.
Yeah. Now the thug, on the other hand, this is where it's still harassment, but it's violent. So with a thug, it's physical damage is attempted or accomplished, be it the targeted person or their property or someone they care about, like friends or family. The thug is gonna hurt people, and this can be either covert or overt abuse. So maybe slash some tires where you're parked, or try to have your car towed away, or break into your car. Something. It's violence. It's very physical.
Well,
Um,
there's other kinds of violence, and I hate to like drift off into things like emotional violence, but there really is that too. There's a way that
oh,
people
trust me, on the
slam.
rolls, we're gonna cover
Uh,
that. We're gonna cover it.
oh, we will cover it later. Okay, so right now we're on the physical, where they slash tires, break windows, break your things, throw your things away,
Yeah, assault
etc.
you too, right? All that, all the, it's very like it's thug. It's thuggery. Just you
Okay.
think the the criminal that's gonna come at you with an axe. That's what a thug like. They really are, and it's never an accident. They really aren't like whoopsie daisy. I s- I slashed your tires. Whoops. And so you know the thing is with the thug, it's like if it's not considered criminal, it should be because it makes life harder than it has to be for the victim of abuse.
Hmm.
And the thing is, thugs, it's not just limited. Like this violence could go all the way to murder. Like a flying monkey can try to kill you on behalf of their master. And it's like, what?
Well, let me ask you. Let me stop you. Do you think that poisoning someone's food would be a harasser slash thug?
Oh, that's a toughie. That one goes straight into, that one definitely is thug, because that's not harassing. That's not telling you, unless you want to do it covert wise. But there's,
Well,
ooh,
no,
that's a
I know of first a story of, yes, someone who actually was poisoned by a narcissist, and it's hard to tell if it was who the actual instigator was from what I know from the
yeah.
people. But yeah,
I would have to
poison actually
go
put.
with thug, because with that one, it's all actions and there's no. It's very much do what I say. Okay, I'm gonna, like, they're gonna be like a hitman for the narcissist, and so
Mm,
yeah, I would have to say thug on that one.
wow.
Like, woof, that's that's like deadly stuff, man. Yeah, it
It
is.
is deadly stuff, and it's actually very real. I get a lot of email stories. Some of what I talk about on the channel is my own experience. Some of it is others' experiences, and for the sake of safety, I'm not able to say which is which all the time. But I do know of this story that someone actually was poisoned. Food was put in their or poison was put in their food. So I would definitely say that was in the thug category because it was attempted murder. The people
Oh
should
yeah.
actually be in prison. They really should be. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, go
You
ahead.
you bet. So those are the harassers and the thug roles. Now, I bet you can't wait to learn what the other roles are.
I just like I said, I'm already putting names and faces to these titles. Like, yep, nope, yep, know them. Go ahead.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's start with the shadow, and that's kind of in the center there. The shadow was the one that I kind of, it started. That was kind of the first role that I thought about. I went, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, how can you differentiate one flying monkey from another? Because they can have an army of flying monkeys, but some flying monkeys are going to stick to other certain roles, and other flying monkeys are going to be in other roles most of the time. It's its own little sub monkey culture thing. Like, it's really something. So with the shadow, a shadow is a flying monkey that stays really close to the ego path, like in proximity. And so usually they're like behind the ego path, and they speak to the ego path if the ego path gets stumped. So if the ego path wants to like insult someone and then someone comes in with a really good comeback, the ego path doesn't want to look stupid. And so they need to have someone who can like help them come up with a comeback to that. And so the shadow is kind of a monkey that's staying silent, but like is going to tell the ego path or the narcissist, like, hey, you forgot your lines, star actor. You know, every star actor forgets their lines from time to time. Remember when we talk bad about them like that? Ooh, we could use that now. It's,
Uh,
it's just
uh,
they're just such fiends. So the shadow will seamlessly transition into yaysayer and naysayer depending on the current situation, and that's a toughie one. Yaysayer versus naysayer, but they're two. Those are some good roles there. We'll get into that.
yeah, let's do that. What's the difference between the yaysayer and the naysayer?
You bet. So besides the fact that one goes yes, 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 and the other goes no, 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 the yay sayer is the cheerleader. So the yay sayer, guess whose side the flying monkey's going to be on?
Mm-hmm.
Right, the
Exactly.
master egopath or master narcissist, right? The cheerleader. Oh, master egopath can do no wrong. Master, will mindlessly obey because master, whatever you say is okay. Like they really are just they're cheerleaders. And so you have the covert. You can even have like covert egopaths that are also guilty of this. If someone won't hold someone else accountable and tries to distort complaints or justify abuse or advocate for the master, watch out. You're likely dealing with an advocator. Like it's very much a narcissist territory to like cheer on a narcissist, another narcissist. That's what they do. They shill for other narcissists.
I think they switch positions too. I think they switch positions from ego path to flying monkey very easily. I
Oh
think they.
yeah, they'll play multiple roles, right? It's all depends on the power dynamic of it's yeah, like they're just they're not good people.
God, they're sick. They're so sick in the head and the soul, these people. And you know what? It just sucks that we know this stuff firsthand and had to experience this like close up and personal. Because everything you're saying, well, even in the last conversation we had and this one as well, it's like, yep. So the naysayer, what would a naysayer be like? What would they do?
Oh, you bet. So a naysayer, like first off, the naysayer is never going to go against their master. So guess who they're going to be saying no to, right? So they're going to be saying no to the victim. So a naysayer's goal, this is their big goal, is to openly doubt anything the victim does, to try to have the victim doubt themselves. They want you to feel that you're inferior, not worth anything, that you're garbage, basically. And there's multiple ways they do this. So they also want everyone else to doubt you as well, to discredit you. Go say, hey, look, I'm not listening to this person. You can do it too. Do what I do. Do what the monkey does. Monkey see, monkey do.
Mm-hmm.
It just so doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will.
Right.
And that's what they want. They like don't fall for it. Never take criticism from those you wouldn't go to advice for. Call naysayers out
Say
for
that
what.
again. That is excellent sage advice. Besides the topic at hand today. Say that again.
Yep. Never take criticism from those you wouldn't go to advice for.
Exactly. And you know what? I was so guilty of that. For many years, I would take criticism from a whole host of just a whole host of fucking assholes. These people,
Well, it's true,
just to
right?
put
Well,
it
that's the problem.
bluntly.
We don't necessarily know we're in a circus, right? Even though they're throwing shit around, it's like, oh shit, we're in the circus. That's what it is.
Yeah, I show up to play checkers, and they show up with a hockey mask and a baseball bat. Man, they're like ready to like do damage, and all you're trying to do is make it through the day. Oh my God, no, I know this. So the naysayer is there to discount anything that you say. If you've ever tried to express yourself to anyone about the behavior of an egopath slash narcissist, and they say, "Oh, you're overreacting, or you're too sensitive, or you're trying," that's the naysayer. They want you to doubt yourself.
Yeah, they're very much. And you know what? And the thing is, calling naysayers out for what they are, naysayers, actually like wakes people up who aren't in on it. They're like, hey, yeah, all this guy is doing is saying no.
It's hard. That's a really, really hard thing to point out. It's extremely difficult to touch. I've got another video. It's actually a couple of years old where I talk about watch for those who don't clap when you win.
Yeah, oh man, that was a good one.
Oh,
That was a
thank
good
you.
one.
Yeah, and I'm like, because it takes forever. It's like, I would, whatever would happen was some positive thing, and you watch people sit on their hands. You go, man, these people really aren't on my side, and trying to explain that, like the naysayer, trying to explain even to someone else or a third or a fourth party that this person is. Because I tried this. I mean, this is first-hand knowledge of what you've got here on this diagram. I've experienced this, and not only that, but they'll do it amongst each other. It's you can. I was almost like a ping pong ball between these several of them. It was unreal.
Yeah, yeah, they love it when they can merge together. And actually, that actually leads in perfectly.
Okay.
Naysaying isn't just limited to verbal abuse, and this is what you're kind of talking about, like emotional abuse, psychological abuse, right, or violence, if you want to use the word violence. But basically, naysaying can also be done using passive aggressive inaction. And
Yes, God, that's so hard to explain. It was the last thing that I understood, and I understand how damaging it was because there's certain. I'm sorry to stop you in this. There's certain unwritten rules about society and relationships about what's expected, and there's such tenets, or they used to be such tenets, so obvious that it never was discussed. The naysayer and the narcissist, they are adept at not acting at the exact right time to cause the most amount of damage.
yeah, well,
Yes.
that's the thing. They try to make a problem that you have to go to them to solve, and
Mhm.
then they don't help you, and they basically refuse to help you, even though they did all this crap to begin with. So
These
that
fuckers are the ones that set the dumpster fire. These guys, I swear to God, dude, you're this. This is exactly, yeah. They're the ones that do this, and then somehow you have to rally up to them, and of course they won't help you solve the problem.
no,
Yes.
it's all punishment tactics, and they really like it's. I mean, this like yeah, basically passive aggressive inaction is them. They refuse to help you, and the thing is,
Silent treatment as well.
you
The
nailed it. Oh man, you nailed it. You like literally, yeah. To get their naysaying message across, what they do is they use the silent treatment with the intent to harm. That's a big difference there. They're not using a silent treatment to get away from you in terms of like oh you're a mean person. I'm not going to talk to you. They're using the silent treatment to go yeah I'm up you good
It
and
is, and they enjoy that. They leaving an open-ended conversation about something that they started, it's a supreme tactic of the flying monkey and the ego path.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
again,
yeah, Matt.
boy, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
experienced this
exactly.
before, only a million times from a handful of these people. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm just like I just love it that I wrote this stuff, man. I didn't think you were going to be predicting my next sentences. Like, man. So yeah, basically the silent treatment with the intent to harm another person is known as stonewalling.
Mhm.
And stonewalling is a choice and it's considered both emotional and psychological abuse. So
Well, I
that's
remember even in my own family as a kid where, and I've mentioned all the sociopath or narcissist or egopaths in my family were all female. Sorry if y'all don't like that listening to it, but that's, and also the other ones that were around me. And they would actually tell me, don't talk to so and so. We're giving her the silent treatment. And
Jesus.
they would actually say it, and they would go on for days doing this. And it's extremely crippling to people when you do that. And I thought, wow, being a kid, I thought, well, okay, and so I was forced to participate in their abuse. Very,
Yeah, well, and I mean
yeah.
that's and unfortunately that is I mean at that point you're not really a flying monkey because you're not willingly doing it. Like
Oh
you're under
God, I wasn't
duress.
willing. I knew something was very terribly wrong with it then, and
Oh,
and then later. I mean, you forget these things until they come up later on. But then when you're dealing with another egopath slash narcissist, and they're giving you the silent treatment when all you're trying to do is hash something out, and they enjoy that. They dig that. They love your discomfort. It is.
causing
It's
loss
with the intent to
is their
cause harm.
win.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so basically, yeah, the stonewalling shows unwarranted rejection and disrespect to the person, to the victim. It's
Unwarranted.
refusing to listen, communicate, and acknowledge the person. It is ignoring, devaluing, and dismissing ideas, opinions, and overall anything the victim says without reason or mercy.
That is
Flying monkeys
very
have
well
no reason.
put.
They have no
That's God. Do you have that written down somewhere? Because that was
mercy.
just
I wrote it down.
Could you say it again? I don't mean to just like stung it. Could you say it again? But that's so important. Could you
Oh,
could you say or read that again?
I'm saying it.
Okay.
Stonewalling shows unwarranted rejection and disrespect to the person. It is refusing to listen, communicate, and acknowledge the person. It is ignoring, devaluing, and dismissing ideas, opinions, and overall anything the victim says without reason or mercy. This act is targeted specifically at the victim to have them doubt themselves.
Good Lord. Yeah, you want to talk about a mind fuck? Oh my God. Yeah. No, I haven't experienced that except a few thousand times. That is exactly that. Very well put. That's the naysayer. Wow, what lovely people the narcissist ego paths are. Aren't they great folks? Aren't you so glad to be away from them? My God.
Here's
Ah,
here's the best part, right? Now that we kind of like, because for me, I truly see them as losers. How would you really want people like that around worshiping you? These losers, like they're losers. They're
yeah, they're
such.
the top of the garbage heap. It's like, seriously, why do you want to be around these? They don't progress forward at all in any department. And they usually are losers. They usually don't have any. They don't have any real talents or anything. Their only talent is just screwing with people around them, I guess, to get what they want when they want. Wow. I mean, is that
All they do is
really?
they cause loss. They go out to cause loss, and to them that's a win. And they're just yeah, they're really just God, they're dumb.
God, they are what maggots. Oh my God. Okay, so here's one Hellraiser from the Naysayer. If you go down to the bottom right, it looks like you have one called Hellraiser. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I'm not sure I know what that means either yet.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we got a few more. We got Hellraiser, Understudy, Spy, Interrogator. We got those ones still to kind of cover. But yeah,
Okay.
Hellraiser is actually perfect. So Hellraiser is not so much passive aggressive as completely overt aggression. It's completely out in the open. So a Hellraiser is a flying monkey whose entire goal in life is to raise hell against the victim in attempts to make the victim look bad in front of others and get the victim in trouble. That's their whole thing. It's all just they overreact. They're drama queens trying to get the person in trouble, right? I'm offended. So this means overreacting at any moment to something the target did do or didn't do. They could make shit up and go, "Oh, how could you do this?" And go, "What are you talking about?" Well, 5 minutes ago, what? I wasn't with you 5 minutes ago. It just they this
Yes.
shit on you. And so the thing is, if they can't get dirt on the target, then make some up and act all offended, like just So the Hellraiser, it's a common response. Like Hellraisers, they will leap at the opportunity to try and get you in trouble when you won't allow them to disrespect you, and then they consider it you being disrespectful to them. Like, oh,
The professionally offended.
how dare you not let me yell at you? Like they're just, oh god, man, they're just losers, such losers.
The professionally offended, it sounds kind of like the social justice warriors of today. It's like they overreact to everything, and if you don't bite the bait that they put out, then yeah, you're part of the problem. It's like, no, you're the problem. You're the helper. And
Yeah, I
I've
mean, the whole
experienced that
is
recently too, where
twisted
someone
around.
was just as nasty as could be. And I said, you're not going to give me the silent treatment. You're not going to ghost me. And I'm on the phone with this person, like, look, I'm not going to put up with that kind of shit. I'm not doing that. Can I hang up now? And they just simply wouldn't. They weren't going to, until I finally got the, yeah, you can hang up. And then I said, okay, good. I can finally close this conversation out. Oh, yeah. But professionally offended, just, I think the professionally offended, though, is really more for a third party watching. Because if just two of you, it doesn't seem to work.
That's
Don't you
right.
think?
It's all about, because the hell raising, they want to make you feel bad, yes, but they want other people to buy into the bullshit that you've done something wrong, and they want everyone else to just go like, "Oh, you did something wrong. You did something wrong. Look how upset this person is." And it's like that person's an asshole. Fuck them. They don't
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, my life matters. I'm going to set this building on fire. It's like, no, you don't seem to understand that you've taken this way out of context. Now,
So yeah,
I
basically the Hellraiser will oppose anything that benefits the target. That's how you can tell they're raising hell, because they can't have you win. It all has to be, you need to be the bad person, you need to be trouble, you need to be punished. The thing is, they can be in this sub role and also a naysayer, because they'll say no to you. A Hellraiser will go, you're like, they'll make up shit. They'll do something like, oh, how could you do that? And then you'll go, I didn't do that. And then they'll say to you, no, you did. And you know what I mean? Like they're swapping back and forth between all these little sub roles and all these behaviors.
I've experienced it exactly firsthand, where you think, God, did I really say that? I mean, they got you so confused that you think, because I want to be honest, and I honestly don't remember every single thing I've ever said. And so someone says, hey, you said I could blah, blah, blah. I don't remember. Okay, well, if I did, they're just messing with you. Let me ask you a question that looks to me like the Hellraiser could actually use the thug role with a third party, like, say, the police. They
Oh,
could,
yeah.
yeah, they could be, I'm giving you the air quotes, offended, or something's happened to them, and then they use some other agency to carry out even further abuse via, like I said, the police or some other agency or the court system or whatnot.
And remember, at these points, because that's correct. At every point, right, a Hellraiser could phone the police, and if they have a friend on the police force, yeah, that person's going to be a thug,
Or if
right?
they're a woman, sorry guys, sorry gals, you're just gonna have to put up with this for a second. If you're a woman and you call the police on some guy who hadn't done shit, and that happens a lot. Most of
Yeah.
the time, if there's supposedly some sort of, like, if she's taking a swing at someone and there's domestic violence going on, guess who's going to jail? It ain't her. So
Yeah.
she's not only a hellraiser, she's the thug now too. And then she pretends to be the victim, and well, now at that point she slid into the ego path's narcissist role, beyond that. But yeah, I see how that could work as well.
Well, and that's just it, right? Because a lot of these flying monkeys, this is actually mostly what they're instructed to do, because they really don't have much brain in them. They don't. Like they really, like, they're so dumb. That's why they do all this shit, because they're told, they're like, oh, I'll be a hero in the master's eyes if I do this shit. And
They're
it's like,
NPCs, they're non-playable characters is what they are.
exactly. It's like,
NPC.
God. But the thing is, that's like, they're so delusional. They actually think that they're like the shit. Like, by doing this, they're thinking like, "Oh, I'm so smart," and it's like, you're just such a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I love running these fuckers down, don't you? I have a great time when Connor calls. We just run them down. Makes me feel better for the day. They deserve it, though. They do, because I've had and seen all those. Like I said, if it hadn't been a personal experience, like I said, I'm not going to differentiate between personal experiences and the emails that I get and the stories. But I've seen or heard all of this at one time, or had it related to me in one form or another. So the Hellraiser, the understudy. What? So is this like a new flying monkey? If we switch over here from the naysayer to the understudy, what's the understudy?
Yeah, so all the way over, and that's good because I was finished talking about Hellraiser
Oh,
too.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. And if you're not finished, just tell me and we'll revisit.
No, you're doing so good, man, and that was going to be my next pick too.
Okay,
So,
good.
so the understudy, this is we just talked about how they don't have very much brain in them. So the understudy is, imagine a very poor form of ventriloquism, where if you ask a flying monkey a yes or no question, the flying monkey looks to Master Egopath. The Master Egopath nods their head approvingly. Flying monkey looks back and answers to you, yes. It's a very clear indication who's calling the shots and who is the flying monkey. Like,
Right.
yeah,
This
and
one I'm
that's
not so certain that I'm going to need an example though on that one for an understudy. If the narcissist says or does what something obviously abusive, anything that comes out of their mouth is going to be intended to harm.
oh, you
The
bet. Well,
understudy, how would they react to something like that?
yeah, well, here's a perfect example, right? So let's say the egopath narcissist, right? They push you, and they physically assault you, and you say, hey, you're not allowed to do that, and if you like fight back and you push the narcissist back, and all of a sudden the flying monk goes, hey, what are you doing? You go, what? Didn't you see him push me first? And then the flying monkey looks to the master. Oh, what should I say, master?
Hmm.
And Master Egopath goes, oh, well, he pushed me first. I pushed him second. And then the flying monk goes, oh, okay, that's the script we're using. Okay. Oh,
Oh, okay, so they're taking all of their cues. They're even stupider than the normal NPC, and they're taking all of their cues from it. Okay.
that's the shit. It's they get caught, they don't know what to do, and they have to go to their master. What do I do, master? That's why they're the understudy. What do I do? What do
They
I do
are.
now,
I haven't
master?
experienced this one. I have to admit, I have not experienced an understudy. All the others on here, I personally have personal experience with, and many stories. The understudy is not one. That seems to be more like maybe in a business situation. I wouldn't imagine it would have. Well, I guess if it was in a close family situation
I mean, it
too.
could
But
happen at like a party or something, right? It's just the idea is that this understudy is just going to say whatever their master wants them to say. Like if
he's a
master
brown
tells
noser.
them to
Yeah,
say
as a
something,
brown noser is what he is, or he. Yes.
yeah, the understudy will say whatever they're told to say. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, but one thing's for certain is they all are flying monkeys. Unbelievable. It must have taken you a long time. I mean, you must have spent some time on these graphics that you put together,
I
especially like
actually
the
didn't
flying
spend
monkey.
too much time on it. I actually played video games, and I played the video game called Shadow of War, and
Okay,
it reminded me so much of real life flying monkeys. I went, holy shit.
this is well. You couldn't have put this together any better. The Circle of Slaves is very well put together, and so is this. This putting it down on a graphic like this and compartmentalizing it a little bit helps it make a ton more sense. I wish that I had honestly, when I first started to research narcissism or cluster B personality disorders, there just wasn't that much on the internet. As a matter of fact, one of my videos, if you put in narcissism, it used to come up like number 2, like on YouTube. And now there's many, many, and I'm glad there's many more because I'm not as articulate as some of the people that have been discussing this, but I'd wish I'd had something like this. That's why, I hope this gets shared more and more, because what Connor's done here is he's made sense of something that's very nonsensical. It's extremely difficult as a matter of fact, we talk about how unless you've experienced narcissistic abuse, the cluster B personality disorder around you, it's really hard to relate to someone that hasn't. This, I think, you could almost make some sense. I think with these graphics that you could make sense of these to someone who hasn't experienced it, because it's so damaging and it's so insidious and so hard to see. But makes it perfect. I mean, you got the shadow, you got the yes man, you got the naysayer, or the person that's telling you that you don't know what you're talking about. You've got people that are the harasser and the spy. I know all about the spies, the interrogators. They are the uh, they're more, well, obviously covert, being a spy, but they're even covert narcs themselves, if you ask me. So
Um, And so actually it was like kind of from like all my experience of researching this stuff and then playing that video game, I thought, oh my God, you know what? I should do it. I should try and like nail down like a range of behaviors of the flying monkey to be like, yep, there's the damn flying monkey doing that behavior again. This is the
I
role they're in.
I
This is what they're
think you
doing.
did. I think you did very well putting that together. It's again, I couldn't add or subtract anything from it. This is, folks, if you made it this far, and if you're looking at this and you have been around a narcissist and you understand, now you understand what your neighbors and their relatives and people that you both know are doing. Now you understand what they're doing. It's very difficult to map that out, but it's mapped out very clearly here. Connor, very well done.
We still have to cover two more roles.
Which ones are we looking at? What are the?
Uh, spy and interrogator.
Oh, that's right, because that's the first ones, and I kind of skipped over that. My mistake, my fault.
No,
Let's
that's
go
no
back to the
you
spy.
got it right. But I want to just give
Yeah,
give a
of
few more
course.
details.
Yeah, let's go. Spy. So let's talk about the spy and the interrogator. Yeah, let's go.
You bet. So let's start with the spy.
Okay.
The spy is someone who goes, "Hey there, pal. What have you been up to?"
Mm-hmm.
It's a more discreet version of gathering info and data mining and attempting to earn your trust.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, a spy can act as a distraction. Say, "Hey, could you come help me with this?" So that you're busy with them, and then another little flying monkey can go and sabotage you where you would have otherwise caught it. Like luring you away so that your like workstation's unguarded or something, right? That's you know what I mean?
I
Like they
do.
really do this shit. So and then like with a spy though, what really works, and this it works. You tell the spy, report back to your master you have failed them. It works wonders at making them fear you because if they have to report back and say, "Hey, my cover's blown," guess who's getting punished?
Ah, spy. Good.
I love it. It's so wonderful and it works. And so, yeah, they fear you and it generally leads to them leaving you alone. It's wonderful because they come to you. These spies come to you. And so, yeah. Now be very careful because there is like the higher functioning narcissist, not a flying monkey, but like a high functioning covert narcissist that wants to team up and be a little advocator.
Mm-hmm.
They will try to invite you to go to them. They say, "Hey, anything happens, you let me know first. Hey, talk to me anytime you need help." This serves as an alert system to warn the master narc what you know so that they can go, "Oh shit, he's on to you," to stay one step ahead and help master not get caught.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and so like word of advice, don't trust someone who comes to you saying you can come talk to me anytime and all this stuff and then stays in touch with the ego path or the bully or the narcissist. That they're not on your side here. And
When you go no contact, you got to go no contact with them all. I learned that. Or
yeah,
low
like
contact. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's so true. And so yeah, and I mean the thing is, I mean, yeah, if they're like meeting up with them every few days or something, even if it seems on the outside when you're around, it's just like business and stuff, they're opportunistic and they can always meet up after when you're not looking or during the meeting if it's just them. Like they can like they really have no lives outside of trying to hurt people. They just like it's like get a life, you loser. Yeah.
Yeah. So are they the spy, the interrogator? Is it a more focused form of spy? What's
Oh,
the
you got it. Yeah. So yeah, basically an interrogator goes up to you and says, "What are your weaknesses?" And then if you
Okay.
say, when someone asks me what are my weaknesses, and they go, "Hey, come on, be serious. What are your weaknesses?"
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
pretty self-explanatory. They want specific info they've been assigned to collect and report back with. Obviously, Master Narc wants to know what are your weaknesses, and so they've assigned their interrogator to ask and collect and get me that information.
Right.
This if someone's an interrogator, that's not an annoying pawn asking random questions. They know exactly what they're after with the intent to hurt you. They know if they get an answer from you, they can go back to Master Narc and be like, "Oh, did I do good, Master?" Just
Yeah.
fuck. They're just losers. Are fucking.
They are losers. Absolutely. They have nothing else going for them if they fall into this this system of behavior. It's just everywhere now too, and I totally get that. The interrogator, the spy, mostly the ones I dealt with were spies. Not very good ones either. Could start to catch on with it after a while. It's like they're data mining you. One thing I like to do is I'm going to interject something here on Connor's conversation is that if you do have a spy or someone who is interrogating you, it's a perfect time to give them disinfo. And I have used that. I've used and I've successfully, and I've used it successfully to throw the narcissist completely off. And when you give them the disinfo, because the little bastard spy thinks that they're taking something, they are taking something back to the narcissist, but it's disinformation, and so they act on disinformation, and it's one way to combat while if you have to be in contact with them. One way to combat.
Check something.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So when I took a security course, there's something called honeypotting, where it's a honeypot.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, like, for example, you have a fake piece of information that a thief comes and takes. And then that information is going to be just bogus information. It doesn't help them. And then the criminal element sorts itself out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so that's
the hard way. I'm like, how am I going to win this thing because these people are jacking with me so hard? I'm like, okay, well, disinfo it is. So
yeah, and it's perfect. And you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it, man. Give them
yes,
all the
they do. They absolutely deserve it. But they're also so predictable. The flying monkeys, the ego path, they're also predictable. Once you know this, these diagrams, I know I was preceding you a little bit on some of this conversation. I wasn't trying to. It's just that I've seen this. I mean, now I see it in a graphic. I've already experienced this, as many people that visit these channels have. And then once you know that they're predictable, you can combat that. The only time, though, that I tell you to combat a narcissist and their flying monkeys is if you have something to lose, okay, or something to gain, that's yours, okay? Not just for the fun of it. Go no contact when you can, as soon as you can, or low contact. But if they're still messing with you, I'm not one of those that sits around and says, you know what, just mess with me, because I'll fuck with you back. I mean, I will hurt you. They've turned me into a guy. They've turned me personally into don't fuck with this guy. I don't mean to put it out there like that.
I know, but that's the thing. Yeah. They only respond to consequences. So when you finally give them some consequences, they back off.
They do, and I've had to give several of them some consequences. Some still coming. They don't know what's coming yet, but it is still coming, and they do. They find, because they're cowards. They're not only stupid, they're cowards too. They can't function normally in society. Well, they can function normally in our society today because there's so many of them. But absolutely. So when the spy, the interrogator comes, and you start to understand, give them the disinfo that's going to throw a wrench in the works, and you'll find out that it absolutely. There's a payoff to it, and eventually they will leave you alone, and hopefully you get to keep what's yours and get back what's yours. And but I caution you on this when you're looking at this on his graphic, the spy interrogator. I caution you only if you have to. Don't play that game if you don't have to. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But generally, they're the ones that have sucked you into it anyway. It wasn't something I didn't go looking for narcissists. I just have it written on my head, foreheads, so. Anyhow, the spy interrogator, yeah, that's a very important concept here. So anyhow, Connor, I really, Go ahead.
I have a bit more information
to say. Go ahead. All right.
Yeah. So I have a question for you first. How accurate do you think these sub roles are? Do you think I kind of covered everything?
I think so. I don't see anything that I could add. It's better. I think it's better articulated than anything I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Like that's really it. That was one question. Now I will finish with something.
Okay.
I will say that all of these sub roles, it's based off of the Circle of Slaves flying monkey role. Like the Circle of Slaves flying monkey role, all these sub roles inherit and do not contradict the same criteria. So the main flying monkey role, all of these sub roles, they're still a knowing and willing accomplice. They know what they're doing. They will hurt others at their master ego path's command. They are still all bad news and no brain. The sub-rules here don't make them any less malevolent or less stupid, as
Right.
defined by Carlos Sapolo's taxonomy of stupid, and 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 they are committed to being just that much of a loser. The sub-roles here don't make them less of a loser. None of these sub-roles should have you thinking they are a real winner, besides thinking it sarcastically.
Exactly. Well, the ego path can't do its job effectively without the flying monkeys, and here we have it. We have it put down in a graphic. It's in black and white. It's easy to see, easy to understand, and like I said, I don't think I could put anything. I can't add anything to it. So anyhow, well, listen, Connor, stick around for just a second. I want to tell everybody, thanks for joining us, and hang on just a second. We'll chat for just a minute more, okay? All right, so there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us again. It's good to see you all again, and I hope to see you all again real soon.